40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checkered TV, where we are back here on Sunday night for the Area 51 Superspeedway Gen 6 series, switching over from the Xfinity cars. The drivers have been doing a lot of testing over the off-season. Get familiar with these guys, and it'll be fun to see what they have in store for us tonight. As we speak right now, drivers putting down their qualifying laps to start off tonight's event, and then we will get underway here shortly. But right now, got Boomer in the booth with me. Ran the show on Friday. Had Brendan in the booth with you. Now we're switching things up where I'm going to be in the booth with you. And then we've got Brendan on track tonight, where I was going to be on Friday, but real life came up, and so I wasn't able to pull it off here. But different car, same track. I'll be curious to see how these guys race compared to what we've seen in the previous cars.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting. Friday night was a great race. We had the early caution and then green flag the rest of the way. And we saw that, so we talk about it so much on here, but that green flag pit execution. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's been a minute, and I don't even remember if it's been since I've been here. But it's been a while since we've run these Gen 6 cars, if we have before. So something new for change it up a little bit. It should be exciting, and really curious to see how they handle any differently from what we saw with the next gens previously.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see on that one. And one of the drivers I talked to, they had mentioned that it sounds like the next gen draft package also has changed. So always there's always an open door policy, if you will, for what's the car to drive. So you might even see for season 2, maybe we switch over to a next gen or something like that. So it'll be fun to see on that one. But Boomer Over went back to look at the results on your race on Friday. I didn't get to see it, but say really cool to see one of the returning names there, Robert Rock. He comes out on top on race number 1. Cody Nagels, that's a good one to be able to beat, obviously, and then Paul Witt as well. So some cool names returning to the series. Always happy to see them and starting off really strong tonight, and see a few of those guys back again tonight. And you'd mentioned there's a few names that you don't recognize, but you're like, yeah, these guys are going to be some heavy hitters this season. So it'll be fun to see kind of how well they hit the ground running.
Yeah, it was a great race. I mean, obviously we saw Robert Rock and Cody Nagels. They're actually working together. Paul Witt. So it was a teammate 1, 2, 3. So it was really cool to see those guys get that done. And obviously for Robert Rock, we looked back and it's his second race win ever in Area 51. And I think the last one came like 2020 or 2021, so it's been a minute, and that's just as good as a first-time winner for me. And you know how much we love that here.
We do enjoy those. And then also wasn't the only racing. Tuesday night we had the opener of the IndyCar series as well. We were at Homestead Miami Speedway, and it was Kyle Klendworth getting the big win over there. He is a bit of a monster with those open wheel cars. So when the joke was no big surprise there, but great car count there as well, just under 30. Drivers there tonight, and had about 5 cautions for 15 laps, but again, it was a 125 lap race for the first race with those cars there. It was a really fun showing. I attempted to run. It didn't go very well for me and got in some incidents early on, but Sal, my goal is to be back out there again on Tuesday. We'll be at Phoenix this upcoming week, and then
That'll be a good one.
It's gonna be a very busy Daytona week as well for us, Boomer, because Friday night we're gonna have the race here as well, and then on Sunday, then in the iRacing special events, it's going to be the 24 hours of Daytona. So there's going to be a lot of Daytonaing going on this next weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, and happens to be probably a weekend I'll have to take off, but going to be fun, and can't wait to hear how those races go for you guys next weekend.
You'll have to submit that to the people to make sure you get approved on the vacation time.
My vacation, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you're technically my boss here, so I'll have to submit that offline, I guess.
I'll say sneaky putting me on the spot on the booth too. So that said, though, we got to find our drivers on grid here tonight, and it is going to be a very unfamiliar name at the front of the grid here tonight, Boomer. And that is going to be Gabe Butler on pole by 4 thousandths of a second over John Ellis, who is also 4 thousandths of a second over Cody Nagel. So pretty much into the tens of thousandths of digits there between the 14 and the 16. Then you got Dean Wilkinson, Landon Velicki, Thomas Holder, Charles Johnson, Vicente Guerrero, Dude Conrad, and Eric Laurie will be our top 10. Then you got Maxwell Caldwell there in 11th. Next to him will be Bob Fitzgerald. And continuing down the grid, Jack Walls, Tom Dixon there, Ryan Decker here tonight, Justin Davis, Todd Merkel, and Jim Brooks. Then you got Bud Steele, Hayden Davis, Gary Huffines, Philip Bridgman, Austin McCarthy, and Brandon Briggs will be our 24 starters tonight. Really good car count here as well. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing what these guys have in store for us tonight. And as always, let's say we'll be kind of trying to figure out who are the drivers to keep an eye on tonight. We're going to be kind of learning as we go here I feel like with this group.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, obviously, all jokes aside, obviously some of these guys at the front have quite a bit of experience there, obviously with that 88, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely looking forward to getting the season kicked off here.
And then, of course, I think the biggest one for me is going to be how do these cars draft? What's going to be the fastest way to race them? I was hearing that this might be a car that you actually have to be very aggressive with on the draft, where it's not really just like kind of a little bump draft. It's you got to really lock on and be aggressive and kind of use those momentum. So that's going to be one thing we're going to have to keep an eye on as the cars are going to roll off. Also hearing fuel mileage probably in about the 17 lap range, which if that's the case, Boomer, it should be a 4-stop race, not a 3-stopper, unless someone can do some big fuel stretching and make it to maybe like a 19 lap run. Then they could pull off a 3-stop strategy. So yeah, another thing to be watching for here tonight as field starts to get that pace lap underway.
Yeah, it's we definitely saw some quicker pit stops, and obviously with the 75 lap count for tonight, definitely makes for a lot of opportunities for that execution during pit stops and down pit roads. So you got to be organized, you got to be ready, and it'll be exciting to see. It's definitely, I mean, obviously Talladega is nice to come here. You got a lot of space to move around, and you can pretty much hold it wide open on the outlap, but there's still time to be gained in certain spots, coming in and out of the pits for sure.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about that. Where getting in and out of pit road is definitely by far the where you got to make your time and everything in that one. So that's like I said. Also, same thing. A new car, the brakes are going to be a little different. Maybe they stop better, they stop worse than the Xfinity car. So hopefully these guys got their reps in to get it all figured out here. But I said I gotta poke fun right off the bat though. That number 55 Dean Wilkinson, he's probably got the most expensive car out there with that Nvidia sponsorship on the hood and on the sides of that thing. Because yeah, don't look at computer prices if you want to upgrade right now. It's not the best of times. But I say
No.
maybe Dean's trying to pull off something here. He's like, hey, look, I'm repping your brand. Why don't you give me some bit of a break
Yeah.
here?
Sponsorship would definitely be nice. I mean, there's some really beautiful looking paint schemes, some familiar ones, definitely. Obviously, the Guinness always classic with the 88, but there's some really good looking new schemes. Obviously, you mentioned the Nvidia sponsorship for Dean Wilkinson, and a lot of pretty race cars about to go green.
Yep, we're getting under green, and like I said, new paint schemes. I know you got to debut it on Friday, but also new overlays here tonight. So we've got the new timing and scoring over on the SDK ticker side there on the left. And so you'll see the drivers here as the green flag is out, and we are underway. 75 laps are scheduled distance tonight. As always, there are 2 green with checkered attempts available, 2 faster pairs available, as John Ellis, Gabe Butler leading that field to turn 1.
And we'll have to also note on the scoring ticker, you will see 2 number 14s out here tonight, some teammates. So Vicente Guerrero is also running that 14 as John Ellis in the 14 leads that line. But I believe we'll be showing Vicente as the 800 car for tonight on the ticker. But so far, so good for John Ellis. Good lead down the back straightaway. He's going to get a clear ahead of Gabe Butler and pull down and take that top spot.
Yeah, and exactly right. So yeah, slight difference on the paint schemes and the car numbers, but it'll be pretty apparent the difference, at least on the paint scheme side. So you see that Ford Mobile 1 machine of John Ellis, and like you mentioned for Vicente in the 800 car, 14 on the car number. That's going to be updated for next week. He's trying to figure out what car number he wants to be. I say, but he's got his own sponsorship on the side of that one with Vince Service and Repair. Always cool to see there. And I say again, for me, all these paint schemes are new because we haven't had these cars before. So really fun to see what everybody's working with. But yeah, right now it's just that decision now. How hard do you want to push early and roll back? And I think I see maybe, I wouldn't say a rollback that you want to have, because these guys are definitely way further off the back than I think they'd want to be. And that's going to be Gary Huffines, Philip Bridgman, Austin McCarthy, and Brendan Briggs there. So one of those things where they're off the draft here, and once we get up to speed, we'll see the lap times are probably not what they're going to be wanting to see. So yeah, that early group here will probably need a yellow to get themselves back in this draft window.
Yeah, that's always tough early on to be sucked out of the draft like that. I mean, it happens so fast, and who knows? Obviously, we've seen lots of crazier things happen, but it's still really early, and it should be no need to set the to hit that panic button yet.
Yeah, no, but here goes the first 3 wide of the move. John Ellis going to jump to the top. Looks like he's going to pick up some friends there with the 16 of Cody Nagels, the 62 of Landon Velke, and the 55 Dean Wilkinson. But looks like right now I'm going to say momentum's actually gone to the middle of Charles Johnson. Saw a little wiggle there from that bump of Gabe Butler, but again, if you have some drivers that you feel comfortable getting the push from, it's going to be those 2 with the 9 and the 88. However, maybe not as bad as the Xfinity cars. We've talked about those, Boomer, as well, when you kind of get that bump and it really off-centers them. It does look like there's a little bit as well going on with these cars. As I say, that caution is out, and it looks like, oh, it's a big one here. You got Maxwell Caldwell involved in there. I see Eric Laurie a little further back as well. And so that's going to be that break we talked about for that pack a little further back, like we mentioned with Brandon Briggs, Austin McCarthy, and company. So that is caution number 1 here tonight. I'm going to see if we can hunt down where this occurred. I think it may have been Eric Laurie being the first involved in this one. So we'll drop back here a little bit, try to pick it up. And, oh, actually, I'm looking at, I'm looking at maybe an accordion effect here, Boomer, because if you look to see, you see kind of how off-centered right now the 88 and the 9 cars are. I'm kind of wondering if, yeah, right there. Oh, man, look at Charles actually. No, so actually it starts from the 88 and the 9. That gets into Vince there. And then from here, then it's the accordion effect that we talked about. And so, yeah, actually it's teammates that get together there, the 071 and the 88. That hooks the 94 around. And then you can see everybody else is just going to try to find a way to sneak on through. You see the two, Todd Merkel, 51, Jim Brooks, able to sneak down to the inside line. And, yeah, I see Maxwell there, a little bit of damage. And, oh, look at the 10, or sorry, the 19, I apologize. Oh, just
barely gets involved.
There. Yeah, so Hayden Davis. And that's also a really fun Bill Elliott paint scheme, the blue Coors Light one. Maybe not as iconic, but definitely a fun one. So that's going to have a few extra dents and dings to it, but I think a lot of these cars probably repairable. Unfortunately, I say the one who probably got the worst damage out of that may have been the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. So we'll jump up to the car. And even now, it doesn't look too bad. I saw a little bit of left rear damage. So maybe just a fast repair. Well, actually, I'm looking at Eric Laurie. That right front's not looking, the whole front end actually not looking very happy in the 071 John Deere machine. So I think Eric may be the one that's going to, I think that might be a fast repair that's going to be needed. And I think I found why Brandon lost the draft, Boomer. He's still texting and driving.
He did say we could pull him up at any point in the broadcast, so maybe he was hoping we'd do that early. But yeah, definitely, yeah, good to have him back on the or with the lead group again.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's a really good break for a couple of those guys that fell off, and I think it's going to change the strategy too, where maybe you can't fall off the back a little bit, so it's easy to lose that pack. But what I think we're going to see here is the entire field roll into pit road. As we talked about that fuel window, this actually might put us in a spot now because we're on lap number 5 coming to 6 here. This might be that window where these guys now can all make it in and out of pit road and kind of get that one pit stop out. So that's going to be another one to keep an eye on here. Now everybody's got to make sure they hit their stalls nice and clean. Didn't see any reversing going on. Also didn't see any strategy as we used to see, Boomer, with drivers opting to go ahead and drive through the pits the first time, get that lap lead, and then come in the second time around. And looks like 4 tires, if I'm not mistaken, for a couple of those guys, like the 14, like the 16, and then definitely some splashes of fuel, though, for some of those guys like Dean Wilkinson, Dude Conrad. That's going to jump them up a fair bunch, which is now we get to play with some of the toys that we have. Boomer, I know you talked about it. So here you go on the side here. You can look to see now the basically the comers and goers, if you will. So you see Dean Wilkinson, he's up 3 spots. Dude up 7, 3 for Thomas Holder, 8 and 9 for Bob Fitzgerald, Tom Dixon. Bud Steele right now, one of the higher climbers at plus 11. Hayden Davis plus 10. So just, yeah, again, little things that we're going to kind of learn and play with over the course of the season and find little odds and ends to just try to help things out maybe a little bit. And of course, as always on the everybody that's watching on YouTube, by all means, if you have something that you want to see, just let us know. We're always more than willing to try to get as best info as we can to you all. So, and speaking of which, Boomer, on the info side, it looks like we still have a couple cars opting to go ahead and hang out in the pits and try to get those repairs done. That's going to be Eric Laurie and Vicente. As I said, that Vicente rolling off now in that 14 or 800, I guess, technically. And looks pretty good to me. I think he may have been able to get that fully repaired. Eric Laurie's car, though, I don't know, man. That one needs a lot of love. So this might be one of those ones where you get as much as you can fixed, but not lose a lap and then come back in and get that fast repair. But the field's about to come through the start or the tri-oval here, so he's going to have to roll not to lose a lap. But I don't know. I still see a lot of right front damage here.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, sometimes that doesn't matter too much as long as you are, especially if you're pushing. But if you're out front and leading a pack, that can really change, the speed of that line in general and that ability to move forward. So something to keep an eye on. I mean, I think, definitely, there's definitely some wrinkles to that left rear quarter panel still too. So going to be hopefully not too detrimental in the draft. I mean, definitely looks drivable, which is, obviously the important thing, but hopefully he can get more of that damage repaired soon.
And we do actually have a number of drivers topping off as well. Thomas Holder is going to be the first of those out of pit road there in that 00. So it looks like pretty much, actually I like Tom Dixon's going to be the first one out in that 411 machine. So yeah, so a few topping off as well, just that little bit of extra, which is gonna now create that really long line on the restart boomer. We'll have the top, the top 10 drivers double file, 11th on back are gonna be single file on that inside line. So that's another one where you're gonna have to really be on top of the fact that you basically, yeah, just making sure you're on throttle quick, don't lose that draft like we've seen before. I'm also trying to spy on Eric. Yeah, Eric did not jump back in, so he's going to go ahead and stick with what he's got. And yeah, hopefully he can hang on to that draft. That's going to put Jack Walls, Bud Steele, though, on the front row for this restart.
Yeah, a couple good-looking cars for some teammates there. Always the classic Delaware paint scheme for Jack, and something always the navy colors for Bud Steele. So looking some good-looking machines there at the front. Some teammates side by side.
Yeah, and I was looking at these paint schemes, and I popped in over in Discord, gave a heads up to my dad that I'm going to have to be updating his, because after seeing these other ones, I know I've got better in me for his. This is one I did a long time ago, so we'll be refreshing that one for next week for sure. And then also kind of the paint schemes that have different sponsorships on them. Like I was watching that number 7 car, and I say it's definitely the Lowe's paint scheme, but it's definitely not a Lowe's sponsorship on it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one as well. So maybe there's a story behind it, but either way, though, we're going to hand it back off to our front row. Also need to mention Ryan Decker in that number 4 car. He is up into outside row number 3. As we're about to get back underway here, Boomer. Ooh, a little bit of a bump for them, 9-6. Unsettled the 6 there of Bud Steele, as now green flag is back out. And oh, big checkup, big accordion there a little bit further back there. I think it was the 00 there. I'm not sure if it's a missed gear or maybe someone starting in a different gear. But either way, though, definitely some nose to bumper contact there. Hopefully car's not too damaged on that. Everybody looks to be okay. But again, though, that's going to build that little bit of separation on this initial restart.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that makes you a little nervous. I mean, obviously, we saw people lose the draft right away after the initial start. It looks like everybody is within enough of a gap to be able to hold on here, but definitely, you can't always count on those cautions to come out to help you get back up to that pack.
Yeah, it's right now there is a bit of a separation from that top 11 to Tom Dixon. And you can see right now Maxwell's going to be just the biggest pusher in the world here to Tom to try to get him up there. And actually Gabe Butler on pit road, not sure if maybe a pit penalty that we missed somewhere in that situation. So the 88 though on pit road, so not what he's looking for to start the season. Oh, and there's maybe part of the accordion. Look at the rear end damage to that 88 car. So something maybe happened on his car. So we'll see if it's just a drive-through, if he maybe needed repairs on that car. And it looks like, just a straight drive-through. So, maybe it was a passing under yellow or passing on the inside on a restart, something like that. And just unfortunately got nabbed on that one, even if it was nothing malicious or intentional. But now everybody's trying to figure out where do they want to position their cars here, Boomer. You saw a couple guys running kind of more middle, saw the outside lane start to form. They moved up to that outside line. And so right now, it's interesting. I don't think there's any set defines line of where you want to be at this point in this race.
Yeah, no, I mean, we saw a lot of moving around on Friday night for sure, especially with the trucks, and we actually saw a couple guys break away. Really ended up being some of our race winners there between Robert Rock and a couple of guys working with TW Motorsports. They were just kind of hanging that high side out, and it worked really well, and it looks like it's working okay right now for the 4 there as he leads. That's Ryan Decker, or that outside leads that outside line at least, but that's gonna break up a little bit, which is gonna hurt. But we saw a pretty good train on the top, but on Friday night at least. But I mean, it's early, and these guys, we talked about on Friday. Oh, there's a car sideways. 00 looks like he's gonna be able to hold on to it. Yeah.
Oh, good recovery, but that's gonna cost him the draft. And what I was gonna mention real quick, Boomer, I don't mean to interrupt you, is look who's in third.
Yeah, the 071 who has, I mean, you can see all the wrinkles. It's I'd be surprised if he jumps out of line here, but looks like the car has enough pace and speed if he's tucked into the draft. So that is awesome to see.
And I would say it's surprising, but I've also seen a race with Eric Laurie where he lost the front clip of that car and was it was a late green white checkered restart, and he held the draft and was able to, I believe, get a podium finish, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember thinking, I've never seen a car with the whole missing front end Steele be able to kind of stay in the draft like he did and get the result he did. So, yeah, so I questioned the strategy for Eric on that one, not taking the fast repair, but right now, like you said, definitely proving me wrong. But now this is where things get a little hairy, where you want to have the least amount of distance to that car in front of you for the sake of draft. And let's say now he's going to be able to at least get back to the 6 of Bud Steele, get that lined up here. But I did also watch, there's a little bit of a drop back I was watching with Cody and Landon Belke and company. I think they lagged back, and now they're trying to use that momentum and see kind of maybe how long it takes to maybe try that back to the front type of a move that we've seen from time and time. It's up front, though. Now it's the middle lane, though, Boomer, which is something we usually don't see. It's usually kind of the top or the bottom. And right now the middle lane's been the popular one. Now it's drop down low.
Yeah, and we talked about it on Friday night, but you're really building a notebook. I mean, this is the first time that some of these drivers might be the first time they've ever raced Gen 4 or Gen 6, excuse me, on a super speedway. So early on here, you're just trying to build a notebook to understand, okay, if the car does this and there's people in front of me or if there's people behind me or side me, like you're just trying to build the notebook for, okay, I know I was in this situation before, I tried this, let me try something different, or how do I get back to the front fastest? And you see the 16 of Cody Nagels takes a window there to the bottom, and he's going to get to the lead of that inside line for now. But you're just building that notebook constantly to say, okay, I tried this in this situation, and this worked or this didn't. And the more you can build that notebook out to understand, all right, in this situation I can do this, or I can block better here, or I can make a pass if X, Y, Z. So obviously you can see these guys are doing a really good job just trying to figure out where they need to be, and really doing a lot of learning early on.
That top to bottom move by Landon Belke there was wild. I was really nervous about it, and then you can see, you can tell right now there's definitely some I think there's some coordination. Either that or that 62's got some really good mirror driving abilities. But, man, they got lined up, and, he went top to bottom right in front of Cody. Cody gave him that bump he needed at the exact right time. And now they picked up that 14 of John Ellis as well. So I think that's 3 of the 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken, in the Discord. But,
yeah, for Nightmare Esports.
Man, the big movement there, the 4 car, a little bit of contact. It looks like everybody's going to be okay. But that's the concern, though, is you try to fill those gaps, and if the momentum shift is too much, that guy that's behind you that maybe you're trying to slot in front of, they may not want to roll out of it all the way, Boomer, and that's going to upset that car and physically, and maybe the car behind, also a little bit on the emotional side of things. So, yeah, it's one of those things, got to be careful, especially early on. Don't want to make too big of a move right off the bat. But again, though, with the momentum I think these cars appear to have, I think you do have to try to take that momentum as soon as you get it.
Yeah, and I think that was just kind of the nature of what we saw with this style of racing when they were, racing these in the actual Cup Series. Definitely, these cars have, I think Junior said something about like a giant ass spoiler or something. So hopefully we don't get flagged for, or I don't get fined for saying that. But spoilers on these things are absolutely huge. They've got a ton of drag, and they generate runs like crazy. So, but like we said, that's definitely something that we saw when these cars race in the real world. So you're getting a little bit of that. You're getting to see a little bit of that in the sim too, which is cool to see how that can correlate at times. But yeah, definitely a lot of big pushes are going to come from this style of stock car.
It's got a big enough spoiler that they had to make part of it clear so you could see out the back of it.
Exactly. It's huge.
Yeah, those are big boys. So yeah, it creates a ton of drag, and like you said, though, then the momentum is where you got to make stuff happen. And it's something that we have seen this in real life too, where sometimes it is just about the momentum. And so right now it looks like the momentum has kind of gone to that top side. So you see these guys, they're just kind of riding that top lane here. Again, you got teammates running 1, 2, 3, so I'm sure that's also not the worst thing in the world. But I'm actually going to look off the, but we'll see. Well, we'll see if we can see over the rear wing of that 62. And answer is no. But I see a little bit of a center punch on the nose of Cody Nagels here. I said I don't know if it's going to fall back enough to be able to get it, so we'll try to see if we can get a different angle. But if you compare the 62 nose to the 16, I definitely feel like I see that 16 just a little center punch. Yeah, I can see a little scuff on the paint as well. So I think that 62, that accordion restart we talked about, he may have got a little piece of that as well, which might be a reason why he's thinking this may not be the best time to lead. And there you go, you can see the momentum. The inside line was starting to get some run, and they said, nope, we're going to cover that lane immediately. And so they're blocking that momentum that Charles Johnson had just started to build up with Dean Wilkinson in that 55.
Yeah, these cars are so momentum driven. Obviously, probably talking maybe too much at length about what these cars did in the real world, back in the day, a couple generations of cars ago. But we saw that with the Chevrolets when this car came out. Those noises are very pointed. Obviously, not really too many Toyotas that we see out here, but not. I don't know if it was part of it, but the Fords definitely won a lot of races in this package for super speedways. So definitely something to to keep an eye on at least. But that's definitely going to potentially hurt the nose of the 16. Not necessarily as a pusher, but as we mentioned, if he gets out to try to lead a line, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and we do have some separation now, though, as well, with everything that's gone on. Hayden Davis right now is the last of this lead pack, and he's even at danger right now of losing that pack. He's about 3/10 off. But then Philip Bridgman here, he's got help. Actually, I'm sorry, it's Gabe Butler leading that group. Philip is his pusher, but you can see you got a handful of them there. But then the concern that we had a little bit earlier with Eric Laurie, looks like he's finally lost the momentum he needed. And so Jim Brooks fell off the draft. Eric is also unfortunately in that situation as well. So right now, lap time wise, those two are going to take the biggest hits by far. And then it's going to be up to these guys here to see, can they shove themselves far enough to get back into it. And you can see right there, Philip was pushing for all he was worth. He probably got too hot. He said, all right, I'm jumping back up. Tom, you take the lead. Now Tom's going to return favor here. But right now, lap time wise, let's see, Gabe ran a 48-14. Leaders were a 47-79, so they've actually been stretching it just a little bit here. And so, yeah, so right now, not what that second pack is looking for, although they pitted on lap number 6. I was hearing about 17 laps on a fuel window boomer, and we're starting lap number 20, so we're not there yet, but we're getting close to that pit stop window, so that might be one of those things where, depending on how far back you are, it might have to take a couple risks and maybe do a Dean Wilkinson pit entry where you just absolutely send it.
Yeah, we'll see. I know at least as far as tire strategy went, it didn't look like really anybody was taking tires much, if at all, maybe right sides in the trucks. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be, something that's more common. Obviously, Talladega, of all the tracks that we go to, this is probably the one you worry the least about handling, because obviously, it's still a fairly new racing surface, it's a larger corner radius than Daytona, it's not necessarily known for, being a super rough track. So probably going to be one of the ones where you can get away with that the most. And I would be willing to bet that most of the lead pack here is probably going to take that strategy, either 2 tires or none.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Under green flag conditions, I think it's going to be fuel only or left sides because, and it sounds crazy, but even switching to the right sides, the time it takes for, in real life, or in this case, the game, to basically move from the right side of the car to get over the wall before you can go, it's enough time where it's actually not worth it. But say we got our favorite texter and driver, though, Brandon Briggs. He has got a hell of a push from Gary Huffines. They're going to clear the inside lane. We'll see if it's going to be the 2 of them or if all 3 will clear. And eventually they're going to have to decide. But, man, this is just full commit here. Gary's got to be careful with those temperatures, too. But you can see how unsettled that 39 car is getting from those pushes. Now they do clear to the inside lane here. But I think the 19 is, unfortunately, right now going to be the odd man out. And so we'll see if they reorganize a little bit. So right now it looks like it's going to be Brandon. It's going to be kind of rolling solo on the inside. But it's going to be a huge head of steam for the 62. He gives Brandon a shot there. You can see Brandon get a little wobbly. But that might be, again, if he can fall back just enough, he can get those 3 outside of him down to the inside line, which I'm sure the 62 and company trying to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and he did say that we could bring him up for an interview at any point. So maybe now would be. I'm just kidding, but no, I mean, yeah, he's doing us proud up here in the booth. Strong running early on with a 39, and one of the things that we've noticed, especially in the last season or so with the trucks, is just that they seem very loose but stable. And I'm kind of getting that vibe a little bit from these as well, because, I mean, the 39 took a bunch of shots from the 98, some really good pushes from Gary there in the middle of the corner. And, I mean, yes, there was a bit of a wiggle, but those cars seem to be pretty stable in the draft here. And I think that's, again, not to, keep bringing it up, but that was indicative of the back in the day too with these cars. We got a couple on pit road though now.
Yeah, so that's Jim Brooks, Eric Laurie. I like that call by them. Just, hey, let's just stop the bleeding. Let's get our pit stop done, roll out. We might even steal a little bit of a draft as we build back up to speed. But unfortunately, they're going to need help to get back into this race. It actually might be scheduled because they probably had to burn a lot of fuel in this situation. So I'm going to be watching right now. We'll see if we're going to see a bunch of cars duck left here. And actually, there's your answer. This is actually right on cue. And it's going to be
it's a whole lead pack.
It's everybody coming in. Second pack as well, the whole group. Now everybody's got to try to mind their P's and Q's, try to avoid contact. And so far, so good. Second pack looks like they're in nice and clean as well. But you can, I mean, look at this, Boomer. It's everyone everywhere. But everybody
Chaos.
so far. Oh, as I say that, Bud Steele and Dude Conrad, they're going to get hooked together. That is going to cost them a ton of time. You can see that now these guys have to be careful getting out of pit road, not to make contact. And yeah, you can see, but I think that's one of those things, again, is just trying to find your pit stalls sometimes with that crowd. It's not the easiest to do. And then that looked a little quick on exit to me for Tom Dixon. We'll have to keep an eye on that 411 possible penalty if it happens to him. Also looking at pit road time, I think Thomas Holder may have got nabbed because he's having a long pit stop. Dude, kind of a big burnout there leaving pit road, and also seeing a lot of not a lot of mistakes, but a few mistakes there. Hayden Davis, I'm showing 14-second stops. That's a 4-tire stop there. But everybody else was in about the 8+ second range. Although I'm showing there's a 2.2-second stop for Todd Merkel. So I feel like I'm missing someone there, but we'll have to see if he maybe didn't get fueled or something. So I'm going to be watching Todd, but now everybody's trying to fight hard here to get back in this draft and not let those top three break away. And yeah, actually, here comes Todd back in.
Yeah, oh man, that's heartbreaking for Todd. Yeah, they should be able to hold on to these guys pretty easily, I think, here. I don't think they're... Yeah, there's definitely a good head of steam from that pack. So I think when it's all said and done, we should have probably around...
It's like 12.
Yeah, or so. Yeah, maybe a few more, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna drop to Maxwell because then you get that just those couple odds and ends.
Yeah,
so
1.2 seconds back to Tom Dixon, and two cars is not going to be as fast, so that'll be it. Yep.
Yeah, so then you got Philip Bridgman, Bob Fitzgerald. Fortunately, Hayden Davis, he's on his own. Jim Brooks and Eric Laurie, they're still working together, though they were able to stay locked on. But with everything that happened to Dude Conrad, even pushed them behind them. Todd Merkel having to make that second stop, he is back in as well. And then Bud Steele's in now in the 6th, and this one's looking lengthy. Not sure, maybe this was a penalty on exit, potentially. This might be like a stop and hold or something like that. So, unfortunately, a handful of guys getting caught early on here on the pit stop cycles. But yeah, so we've got 12 back together again. Trying to see if I can peek at some of the cars and see if damage or fast repairs maybe take it or not, but I'm going to say right now I can't tell for the 16 because he's way too tight up on the back of the 62 to get a good look at it.
Yeah, these guys are definitely pushing like crazy. I mean, you see the 39 all over the back bumper of the 10, even in the middle of the corner. So it's definitely seems that these cars are pretty comfortable doing that.
I look at the 10 car here of Justin Davis. Look at the nose of it. It's like scuffed up from how hard they've been bumping. Bud Steele's the same thing there. So I think the bump drafting that they've been doing, I don't think it's actual damage to the car, but just kind of just showing the contact to contact to show how hard some of these bumps have been. Field coming up on Thomas Holder as we speak right now. That will put him, I believe, 2 down. But Steele, unfortunately, with that penalty, also 2 laps down at the moment. And so for the drivers that are 1 down, I believe it may just be Gabe Butler waiting for it to update. Yeah, it's just Gabe at the moment. However, here comes the field. They're going to put Todd Merkel 1 down. Todd's going to jump to the top here. Let the field slide on by. Dean Wilkinson's going to try to take some momentum up to the top side, but does not have any help at the moment. So unfortunately for Dean, I think that move is going to fall back to the wayside here in that 55, but it's going to put Brandon Briggs, Charles Johnson, and Justin Davis to the point.
Yeah, Brandon's definitely having a strong run so far, and obviously Charles Johnson, definitely one of the most tenured drivers here. And you've got Justin Davis there, came to us last year in competition and has had some really strong runs. Obviously, his cousin Hayden coming on board in the 19, and those guys have really had, I mean, some really good runs here early on. But Brandon Briggs is having a really solid night so far.
Yeah, still a long, long ways to go. Not quite at the halfway point on this one. But yeah, as we run, though, still sticks with that top 12 breakaway from Brennan back to Vicente here. And I think things have kind of maybe, I want to say settled in, but I think a little bit of that where I think a few of these guys said, hey, you know what? We broke our 24 pack down to about 12. That's not a bad place to be. Is actually, I'm going to drop back to Bud Steele because I showed him. Yeah, I think he just had a moment.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it
through the
looks
grass.
like- yeah, so I'm going to go back. We'll take a look and see. That car, yeah, it was weird. That car was tracking weird for a second there. I kind of saw it almost looked like the steering was offset a little bit, but he was able to grab back onto it. So unfortunately, it's one of those things where you have a bad night and it just kind of continues to worsen. But what we do have right now is, again, not enough to break away, but a little separation. And I know some cars are very aggressive on the side draft. They can really kind of throw a parachute out. And so that's going to be their thing is these guys got to be careful depending where they are in track. If they start side drafting each other, that could actually drop them out of the main pack. So one of those things where you don't want to fight too hard with one another and it could risk pulling you out of it. So I think what Maxwell's looking at, though, in the mirror of that 94 car is going to be that 2-car Todd Merkel thinking, hey, we can maybe help each other out here, get you, make sure you don't, or make sure you get that lucky dog, but also get me further forward on the race here. So I'd keep an eye out for that 94 and then see if they can get hooked up at some point.
Yeah, definitely going to help. Obviously, running together, only going to help the chances for the two. Obviously, the 88, it's stuck a little bit further back behind this pack, so there's not too much of a lucky dog battle, but we're coming up on Dude Conrad here in just a second. But honestly, one of the ones I wanted to shout out was Austin McCarthy there, and honestly also Landon Veliky just behind him. So Austin made his first start on Friday night in the series ever, and obviously the 62 running with Vicente and Cody. You know, some of his teammates have some quite a bit of starts, but this is actually the first start ever for the 62 in the series. So definitely some strong runs early on for the 3 and the 62. It's always good to see some new names finding their way towards the front. And I mean, even John Ellis, his first start in the series tonight as well. So those guys are all up in this lead pack so far, and it's really cool to see early on for some of their first starts ever here in Area 51.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And it's fun to see really, really talented guys find their way over here. Again, we talked about how it just kind of ramps up what the other guys need to do. Okay, we got to step our game up now. We saw that with the pit stop abilities from some of these drivers had to really start getting better at that. And, big moves there. And remember I was talking about the 94 and the 2 trying to find each other? I should put a lottery ticket on that one because I actually called something correctly. But yeah, so now that puts Maxwell to the point. And so at the moment, it's going to be Todd Merkel, the first car, one down. But like you said, though, Dude Conrad, he's going to be the next one in line. So right now, he'll be in a good spot. And then Gabe is, unfortunately, he's in that second pack. So he's not where he needs to be for that position. But sometimes not being in the main pack isn't always the worst thing. So that'll be the next thing to keep an eye on for on that one. But yeah, right now, though, you got the 94 is our leader. Second place is the first car, one down in line. And then you got Brandon Briggs there in second in the race. Charles Johnson third to that outside as Maxwell's going to jump up top here. And I think this is maybe that situation where, hey, let's actually get Todd here to be the first or the tail end of the lap, which right now his best friend in this situation would actually, well, it's about to be Dude Conrad, but at the moment would actually be Gabe Butler. If there was to be a perfectly timed caution right now, it would actually allow Todd would basically get back a lap on his own, and then Gabe would actually get the late round. So right now, like I said, Gabe is the biggest Todd Merkel fan for a second. Now it's about to be Dude Conrad on the 8.
Yeah, I know we've seen this a lot too at Area 51. You know, it's kind of a obviously it's a fairly family kind of oriented culture, and everyone kind of helps everyone out. So wouldn't be surprised if that too is able to stay up there. Not super easily, but there's definitely a lot of team sportsmanship going on. So definitely enjoy seeing everyone trying to get those back to the lead lap and help them out. So good to see that too up there. And right now, obviously, he is going to be the lucky dog, and the 8's going to have to come back and battle for that spot for now. But Charles Johnson's going to take over the point there as the 00 actually getting a good push from Dean Wilkinson on the high side through 3 and 4. He gets down on the bottom and leads that inside line now.
Yeah, and this is almost another storyline in itself where Thomas Holder was actually 2 down. So once again, at the moment, he would actually be going from 2 down to 1 down, which again, if you can get one of those laps back, especially from a 2 to 1 situation, it really opens up a lot of opportunities. Because right now, though, he's got about 3 other cars that are 1 lap down. So he immediately knows, hey, those guys are going to get precedent over me just because of the fact that they got 1 extra lap on me. So yeah, so if Thomas was able to hold on to that top spot again, it's all depends on a caution. But if he was able to get that caution at the time that he was ahead of those guys, that's a huge situation for him for his race. But as you can see, though, that's not exactly how it played out. Dean Wilkinson was able to get back by. And you mentioned the great start by Austin McCarthy. And the funny part, I was looking at the field, and he's actually the lone Toyota in this race in that number 3 car. So I'll say poor Austin. I'd say, well, if there's brand loyalty with some of the drivers, which we've seen teams that have all the manufacturers covered usually. So I think, and like you said too, with the start he's had so far this season, it's one of those things you don't care what they're driving. You just know if you work with them, you're going to find your way forward in the race. So I think that's going to be the situation for that 3 car of Austin McCarthy this season.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like we're starting to get a little spread out, though, and you see the 3 and the 55 not trying too hard to work on that high side. I wonder if we're getting back to green flag pit stops again.
Yeah, I mean, they pitted again on 24, and we're at 37 now. So, yeah, so we're probably about 3-ish laps away. And we'll do is we need to show off all of our fun little toys yet, so we'll do that real quick here. We'll try to do a speedy through the field here. We got Brandon Briggs right now started 24th, currently in the lead. Right behind him is Justin Davis in that number 10 from 16th to 2nd. Then you got Vicente Guerrero, though, from 8th to 3rd. Charles Johnson in 4th. He started in 7th and is currently in that 4th position. Maxwell Caldwell started in 11th. He is up to 5th. And Landon Belke, we talked about a little earlier. Right now, currently 6th, started in 5th, 1 spot back behind. Cody Nagel's right here with him as well. In 7th, John Ellis in the 8th position. And then you got Ryan Decker in 9th. Right behind him is Jack Walls in that number 10 spot. And nobody's pitted yet, so we'll go through the last 2 in this main pack here. That's going to be Dean Wilkinson in 11th. And then you've got Austin McCarthy, we just talked about there, in the 12th position. And also right on cue here, Boomer just crossed halfway here in this one.
There we go. To the halfway point we go. Brandon Briggs is at the point. Justin Davis, Vicente Guerrero, Charles Johnson, Maxwell Caldwell. Your top 5 is... We just ran through the field, and definitely got to give props to you, Gael. There's some really, really great work done on all of these graphics that we have updated, and obviously some people at SDK that helped out quite a bit, but you did a great job, and it looks really good on the broadcast here.
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much all the credit in my mind needs to go to the SDK guys. Like I said, this is something that they offered, like, hey, if you guys want to use this, by all means. And there's actually, so some of the features from the old ticker didn't transfer over to the new one. And there's actually a guy that I reached out to and they have their Discord, of course, if there's issues or any help you need. And same thing, super responsive, so love those guys over there. But there's a guy just on his side said, oh yeah, I've been working on that too. You want to try it out? And sure enough, we tried it. It worked perfectly. So big thank you as well to him for his help on getting that done. It's really cool, and you have just that kind of an interest, and you get the guys that are able to work together on things. But what I see right now, Boomer, is going to be a split pit strategy. I think we're about to see Brandon Briggs and company come in this time, and you're going to see Landon Velike there along with Cody Nagel, Vincente. I think we're going to see all these guys run 1 extra lap. But as I said, actually no pit stops yet, just the 0-0 of Thomas Holder. Again, he was a bit off strategy, being 2 down. So this might just be that fight to try to be the first in line to hit pit road here. We'll have to wait and see as we're going to cross the start lap 42 next time around.
Yeah, definitely getting close to that fuel window here, but we've still got a pretty solid group here in this lead pack. Like you mentioned earlier, about 12 cars, a couple of stragglers that are, lap or 2 down. And you can see it looks like, the 62, the 16, 14, the 4, those guys look like they're committed to going quite a bit longer. They're running just the high line at the moment here, but as I said, at least the 4 gets down, but we'll see if there's any takers this time by.
Yeah, just a couple this time. It's going to be Brandon. He's going to come in with the 10 of Justin Davis. Justin, if he kept it under the speed limit, he might be okay. I don't think he saw him touch the cone, so that's going to be a close one for him. But then Tom Dixon, Bob Fitzgerald, they're in that second pack. They are on pit road as well, and so yeah, so these guys are going to go that one extra lap. I mean, we did see the 39 of Brandon Briggs. He did lead a lot of laps in that run, so that could be why he had to come in that one lap earlier. So I don't believe that's going to affect the race strategy because they came in with 34 to go. I'm sorry, so that should be pretty much right on the dot for a 17-17 to the end. These guys will just have maybe a little bit more breathing room, but we'll see if they make that sharp left. And answers no, actually. Oh, Ryan Decker had some indecision there. I think he went low. And they said, actually, no, I want to come back up. And so that's going to bring a different group of cars in there. You got Charles Johnson, Austin. Yeah, you got a couple of them in there as well. So yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how these guys all line up with one another here. But so it's going to be a little bit of it's going to be actually kind of a 3-lap window between all these drivers here when they all hit their pit stalls. So yeah, pretty interesting though to see. It seemed like I don't know if it was indecision or just maybe also just kind of was so focused on the car in front, was thinking he was going to pit, but now we're going to have these top 6 cars that have yet to pit. I think at this point they got to come in this time around, which again, that's pretty good on fuels. That'll be 32 to go, which will safely put them in a one-stop window from here. And so yeah, this is where you got to get everything you can here on entry and exit.
Yeah, and I like this. I mean, if you can go a lap or two extra, it just adds to the security blanket or whatever you want to call it. But man, 3 wide on pit road is a little crazy here. But definitely, if they can get organized here, they'll have some extra fuel versus everybody else, and that's going to go a long way. And it looks like everyone's going to get okay. So obviously, no contact between the 14 and the 16 there. Once you get onto the concrete off the asphalt surface, you become a ghost car to the rest of the field, and looks like they get away okay, and the 14 and the 16 are coming on out side by side, and 62 is going to get away there just ahead.
Yeah, so a good stop of those top 3. Vicente's just a little bit behind, but I think he'll be okay as they start to build that speed back up, and then you'll have Ryan Decker, Jack Walls, and I saw Bud Steele pop in with them as well, so I think unfortunately his race is kind of just gone as bad as it can, so I think he's right now going to start trying to just basically be that team player if he can. So now, though, we got to watch for those guys that pitted a little earlier, and it's going to be first these 3 here, Austin McCarthy, Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson. They're locked on here with a pretty good head of steam here, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get all the way to the lead here. They'll definitely get to that lead pack, but these guys, you see Vicente now on there as well. They've done a really good job of getting up through the gears there and getting fully up to speed, and so they were close to breaking a couple of those guys. The ones that I think they have broken, though, might be Maxwell Caldwell, unless he can grab the toe of Bud Steele here and pull himself back into it. So it's going to be close between those two, but I believe we're going to have an 8-car breakaway. But that said, though, I mean, this isn't over yet for these guys. They can't just get comfortable because hasn't actually shrunk yet. It's up to about 0.9 seconds now. So it actually has not shrunk in the length of the distance. It's starting to now just go back the right way. But yeah, these guys, you can see they're trying to break that draft if they can. Like you said, sounds like that's what they were able to accomplish on Friday.
Yeah, they were pretty good at it. I mean, realistically, it was pit strategy and a little bit of pit strategy, and I mean the time they spent between, because we can see on SDK at least the time between, the start of pit road speed and the end of pit road speed, and they were consistently some of the fastest out there, and that made such a huge difference. And I think, man, as you look at it now, they make a move further on back. They're 2-3 wide there, and that gap is over a second now and growing. So that is going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to allow that 4-pack to continue to break away here, because I think they're going to lose.
I think they're gone.
Ryan Decker, yeah, and this group is going to lose this draft by being so unorganized here.
Yeah, what happened there was I think there was some miscommunication where I think this pack looked like initially I think they thought Eric Laurie was going to jump to the top, and I think as he was about to move, there's kind of that, oh shoot, we don't know if he actually is, and so some of them tucked tight, some of them cut down low, and it just completely threw that whole group out for a loop. And so yeah, so what that's done is it went from about 0.7 or so to about 2.7. And I mean, I'm looking at the lap times and it reflects it, which Again, I mean, we can actually show on the last lap time. So you can see you had Landon Velke there running a 47.53. You go to Charles Johnson, who ran a 49.47. So it was about 2 seconds on the dot slower than the lead pack. So that's going to be a lot of work to get back with these top 4 drivers. Because like you said, they pretty much done this exact same thing last week. This time is obviously a different situation here. So what they're going to have to do is probably take some risks in the pushing. Now they have to push for all they're worth. They're going to steal every draft they can. You saw Jim Brooks there kind of waited till the last second. He jumped out to let them on by. That puts the 51 now down 1 lap as well, which is going to leave us now 16 on the lead lap. And there you go, Charles. I think Dean was probably getting hot. Charles said, all right, I'm going to jump up. You switch and take over. And that's going to now allow the 4 here of Ryan Decker to be the pusher. And so I think this is what you're going to see now is just going to be kind of complete tandem racing from these guys. And as soon as the second car gets hot, it looks like the top car might be the one, or the leading car might be the one that jumps top. And they just kind of keep rotating drivers. So we'll have to keep an eye on the intervals and see how it goes. But yeah, these guys are going to have to basically just kind of caution to the wind right now and just do everything they can.
Yeah, they're able to keep the gap there. Dean Wilkinson's about 2.68 seconds behind Landon Velke at the moment. They did lose a tenth or two on that previous lap, but Ryan Decker ran an even faster lap. So as they come across the stripe, they actually 47.43 to Landon's 47.72. So they're kind of just trading tenths back and forth.
I think that push
off
went
track,
wrong. Yep. Yeah. Let's go back here. We'll take a look. I'm a little too far back here.
That's going to put that pack even further back now. They're dropping 3.2 seconds almost.
Yeah, let's go back one more time here. We'll see. I think it's just going to be, again, like I talked about, them just taking all the chances they can. And yeah, you can see Ryan Decker. Oh, actually, no, it's not a push gone wrong. It's the fact that a little bit of connection issues from the 4 car.
Net code.
And yeah, so the fact that car was disappeared for us probably means it's the same thing for Dean. And yeah, at that point, there's nothing he can do. And so, yeah, so they had actually been making a little bit of ground, but now with that, it's kind of thrown them all off again. So they have to kind of regroup and probably just have to put that behind them, unfortunately, and get right back after it. So to have any chance of that top 4, and I mean, again, there was an incident there, but it was off the racing surface, which means the race does stay under green flag conditions there. So right now, it's still that top 4 breakaway with Landon Velke, Cody Nagels, John Ellis, and Vicente Guerrero. And then you got that group behind them, and you see right there the 4. I think probably it was the 83 getting hot there. Or maybe it's one of the things where Ryan says, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I might have a connection issue. You guys go ahead, and then I'll just kind of pick everybody up and be that pusher. So that might be what we're seeing on that situation with those guys, where now it's going to the same thing, kind of have to reorganize. But in all of that time, they're losing time to that lead pack. So then you get to all these kind of just, unfortunately, kind of stragglers. Maxwell Caldwell, he's in a bit of an island. He's got help, but it's with guys that are laps or more down here with the 8 car there, the 6 car, the 19. Justin Davis, same thing. He's off on his own right now. He does have Brandon Briggs with him, but then he's got other cars right now, kind of a lap or more down. And so, yeah, so right now this field is all kind of little packs here and there, about 3 to 4 or 5 cars at the most. And that's just right now how everything is spread out at the moment. So, yeah, right now these guys, just the top 4, they just got to be smart, Boomer, and not push the issue. Just manage the gap and say, all right, let's make sure we don't beat ourselves. And these guys, like I said, this pack's going to be the one that has to take all the gamble and see if there's anything they can do to get that gap back down before pit stop window, which should be in about 7 laps there. As again, though, so much movement going on here. I don't feel like they're getting I don't feel like they're on the same page of who needs to be where, when, and everything in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, especially if you're not working together in the Discord. I mean, obviously the 83's got a teammate behind him, but not everybody, ahead of you or behind you is in the same chat, in the same team chat. I mean, obviously you can jump in iRacing and, use the public push to talk, but sometimes it's tougher to do that when other people are talking about other stuff or whatever might be going on. But yeah, definitely not the organization they would want to have. The gap was steady, and it was, trading a tenth or two, but man, they lost another second that lap, so they're almost, they're about, Charles Johnson's about 4 seconds off the lead, and that is, that's definitely going to be tougher when that number keeps going up to get back to that lead pack.
Yeah, and then of course there's still the one next thing that can change thing is pit stops, and again, if I'm the top 4, it's like, hey, we got a 4-second window to play with. Let's make sure we do not shoot ourselves in the foot. Everybody, maybe break just that little bit earlier. Make sure you give each other just that little bit of extra room. Like, you can give up a second at least and it not throw your race away. So at this point, once these guys get to that pit stop window, I think they play just a little bit safe. Don't go kind of full tilt and try to just break the field, because right now I think they've had it done. Last time by, Ryan Decker was actually about 0.2 quicker than them. But again, though, I mean, they were in a point where they actually were able to probably just about grab that draft, but now it seems to be going that wrong way once more. Like I said, there's been so much just kind of change of who's going to lead, who's going to push, and just I think that's been what's costing this lead pack, costing the second pack the time, because you've seen they've changed nothing in order in the top 4.
Yeah, obviously the 4 is back to the lead there. Hopefully his connection issue is stabilized now, and the 83 is giving him a good push. But we'll see if they can make up a little bit of ground. I mean, that 83 is all over the back bumper of that 4 at the moment. But we do see that front pack. They're just kind of chilling out there. They're not really pushing hard. They don't really have any need to. And like you mentioned, the urgency is going to come from Jack Walls in this second pack here as they try to get as organized as possible.
Yeah, and so it's an interesting switch there where actually the 4 stayed on the inside. Jack passed them on the top, and then they get lined back up. So same thing, like, I don't know, I just feel like some of the way they're swapping to me doesn't make sense. But again, though, that might be the same thing, something that we have to learn from these new cars, where maybe the correct way isn't the way we would normally think it is. And I mean, we've seen all sorts of different ways where if they stay locked onto each other and just try to maybe keep one of the fenders out in the air a little bit to cool off the water or the oil a little bit. We've seen where the lead car pulls off and kind of the second car takes over the pushing duties or the leading duties. And then other times where it's the second car that gets hot that moves out of the way, and then the third car in line becomes the pusher. So it seems like there's a lot of learning still happening with this Gen 6 car in the season opener from where I'm standing.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned, that notebook always going to be constantly building it. I mean, you're building it even with cars you've raced for years and years. I mean, a lot of drivers here have been in this series since maybe 2019 or older. I mean, there's guys in this race right now. I mean, Gabe Butler has 282 starts in the series. So does Bud Steele. Eric Lorry's got 307, and we've raced a lot of different cars, but it's definitely been a minute for these Gen 6 style cars, and it's different styles are definitely going to drive differently. Obviously, there's not nearly as much industry support of older cars. You don't really see iRacing update old cars nearly as much as the new, like obviously the current next gen stuff is going to be updated the most. So it's just a different style of racing, and even if it isn't the super speedway side of things, so it's something just kind of have to continue to learn and try out, and sometimes it's trial by error, but building that notebook is always so important.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And even then, like you said, and so, there's 00. He's going to hit pit road, and that's just coming to 18 to go. So he might have to do a little fuel saving for this last run for him. But it also just not even on the individual car side, but iRacing itself, where you're going to get those new build days. Things are going to change a little bit. You see right there, I was watching the 62. You see how he's giving about a half a lane on the inside there for Cody to, I think, same thing. I think what they're doing right here is we talk about maybe some different drafting techniques where I think Cody stays on him and pushes as much as he can during the straights, and then once they get off, or once they get onto the turns, you can see again Cody's just a little bit off of him, but he's getting all the clean air right now on the front nose of that 16 car. And then I expect to see once they get back, you can see right there they line right back up, and we're going to see the 16 right back in the rear bumper of the 62. And so so again, that's a different approach of the drafting that we've seen compared to the second pack, where they're not changing their setup. And so you'll see again, I think the 16 will stay locked on until he's hot. there's a separation. You get the 16 about a lane or so lower, and same thing, just cool the motor until his temps are in a better spot again. But they're not having to do the switching of the drivers and everything like that. And that's where you said these guys are all in the same Discord. I'm sure they've been there, done that in other leagues and series as well. And so, yeah, I mean, right now they're kind of working like the well-oiled machine. But as I say that second group there, they're going to come in now right at that 16 to go mark. This should be no problem to make it to the end on fuel.
Yeah, that window is there. It is open, and I think we're going to see a lot of guys coming down pit road in the next couple laps.
Yeah, you also see a little further back there some of the other guys also coming on in here as well. And so these guys, again, they did go a little longer, so I'm not sure. They might even be able to go one more. No, answer is no. They're going to come in together, and here you go. There's the separation I talked about. Now these guys just make sure they don't overshoot the entries. Nice and clean. Yeah, that looks pretty much picture perfect to me. Now the only thing they got to do is make sure that they get themselves in the right order. This is where you start talking to each other. Hey, where did you qualify? Where did you qualify? And just to make sure that you're not going to wind up stepping on each other's toes here on the pit entry. And I think they've got it lined up pretty nicely. And yeah, you can see right there, Cody had to just make a little adjustment there. But so far, so good. You see left side tires going on all these guys. Vince is already rolling. You got Landon rolling, Cody, John. They're going to come in right together here once more. Here, just got to make sure, watch for that tire spin. You saw a little squirreliness. And there you go, all lined up back together, all four of them. So job very, very well done by those top four. We got 15 to go. And this is that pack that just pitted. And you can see, we talked about it, how many would stay together. There's 3 of them now, unfortunately. So they've lost a couple guys in this whole cycle.
Yeah, the 83, the 3, and the 9 are now together, and they're about 8.4 seconds and gaining on the leaders. We'll see where that gap stabilizes out. Obviously, they're going to gain a little bit more as the 16, 62, 14 get up to speed. But it's definitely going to be a lot tougher. Maybe it makes it easier for 3 cars to be a little more organized than they were when that second pack was 7 or 8, but definitely quite a bit more split up now.
Yeah, no, I think it looks like it's going to settle in about 7.5 seconds. As actually Charles Johnson back, I believe, on pit road, so maybe an unsafe exit for the 9. I'm not sure, but yeah, this has been a rough race for a lot of these guys. It looks like everybody has made their pit stops. So that one's pretty much done and taken care of. But yeah, I mean, you can see they're going to get around Dean Wilkinson right now. And again, that just shows where things have been. Dean's sitting in 14th, so that's going to now put just the top 13 now on the lead lap. And possibly soon, I believe, actually probably 12 after Charles Johnson once he can get going again. So I think that, again, that's probably a pit exit penalty is my assumption here. And so, yeah, so then that would leave Tom Dixon next in line. But for Tom, as they come out of turn 2, the leaders were just about to hit turn 1 here. So he's got a good amount of space. He's got a lot of draft help as well. So I think right now it might be sitting at about that 12 cars on the lead lap now at the moment. With Charles Johnson still on pit road. So yeah, right now if you're these guys, you just say, all right, everybody be good, mind your P's and Q's. We do not want that yellow. We don't want to bring anybody back into this race here. But what we can do though now, Boomers, let's run through the field once more. This time we can run through the entire field. And again, we're going to switch off now with our leader in that 16 of Cody Nagels. He is up 2 spots from where he started. Right behind him is Landon Velicki. Is, again, also up 3 spots from he started 5th to 2nd. John Ellis there from 2nd to 3rd on track. And you got Vicente Guerrero there sitting in the 4th spot, up 4 spots from his qualifying position. Behind them, Dean Wilkinson is sitting in the 13th position. And he is right now the first car 1 down. And so he's just going to try to cruise to these guys. And again, if they catch on their car for a lucky dog spot, he's going to want to try to be that one to jump right ahead of him. Then we go to the 5th place position car. That's going to be Jack Walls in the 83. As I said, that caution is out. And it's going to be further back in the field. And Boomer, it took 1 race. Commentator's curse strikes again. And it looks like it is going to be Brandon Briggs involved. I think I saw the 98 Gary Huffines involved. And yeah, I saw Brandon Krabach, and this car is destroyed. Oof. Here. Let's try.
Yeah, the 98, 51, 39, all destroyed in that incident.
All right, so we're going to focus on the 98 of Gary Huffines. I think this is where it begins. They may have gone a little too far back. We'll keep an eye on them here. You see these guys, same thing. I mean, you don't know who is in what battle. I mean, if you're 14th, you want to get to 13th, so on and so forth. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely what the leaders were not hoping for. But so we're coming through 3 and 4 now, and we saw these guys. They were pushing really aggressively earlier on, and it was working. But I'm guessing we'll see is probably just a little bit. Oh, Brandon got too hot. He overheated that engine. Oh my goodness, big hits for the 39, the 98, and the 51. But yeah, we'll
he might have
back.
blown up
He
there.
He did. He popped the motor.
Yeah.
I was able to catch it. I saw just a little puff of smoke, and we'll go back here one more time here, and we'll watch from. We'll see if we can watch it from the top here. We'll see if we can. Just kind of first, we'll see if we can see that puff of smoke out of the 39, because it's going to be like there's the smoke right there. That's the motor letting go, and I mean at that point the 89 is just full commit on the push, and so so unfortunately just a little bit too much, and unfortunately see Jim Brooks also a big shot there because he was pretty much just locked on those guys as well. So we'll jump back live here. I don't think strategy wise we'll see anything here. I would be very surprised if you see the leaders give up their track position here for that, because then you're going to see a lot of cars, if they can, try to take that wave around, get back to the front. So we'll watch and see, and the answer is no takers, no takers. Ryan Decker will come in. So it looks like it's going to be kind of a split decision, maybe like more of the second half of the field coming on in, a few of the lap down cars too. So definitely a mixed bag here. I am showing, so where's Dean? We should see the 55 jump around here and get the lead, get back on the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap, which will put us back to 12 cars now, with the incident taking a few of those guys out of the running. And so, Boomer, we got 10 to go here. We're going to have a late restart. Let's take a quick break before we come right back.
Sounds good.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, so we're going to come back to the white here. Lights will be, come back to the 1 to go here. Lights will be off of the pace car. This was our second yellow of the evening, and so the field's going to double back up right now. We did have a few drivers go ahead and come into pit road. I think we might have either a few more. Yeah, I think we have a few more go ahead and topping off as well. But yeah, again, fuel-wise now 100% good to the end. Green-white checkered fuel? Maybe not. So again, there are 2 green-white checkered attempts. We talked about 17-ish laps on fuel. Boomer, the leaders pitted at lap number 60, so if we take that number to 75, that'd give them 2 laps to play with. They probably had an extra, I would say, lap of fuel gains now under this caution. But, I mean, like we talked about, though, unfortunately, I say so. So, Cody, Landon, John, Vicente, I apologize for first race commentator's curse. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to make you guys are upset, but I've got about 8 other drivers that are very happy about that caution too. So, yeah, so I mean that's going to bring Jack back into the mix. Austin McCarthy, Tom Dixon, Bob Fitzgerald, Maxwell Caldwell, Ryan Decker, Philip Bridgman, and then Dean Wilkinson. He's going to be in the back of the field, but he's back on the lead lap. And then we got a really big lucky dog battle as well. You're going to have Charles Johnson, Gabe Butler, Hayden Davis, Justin Davis, and Todd Merkel. All those guys going to be vying for that spot, which right now Charles has. And then Gabe's just a few cars back, going to try to get that if he can. So going to kind of have that race within a race here, Boomer. We're going to restart with 8 to go. And again, the way it works here is if a caution comes out before the white flag is out, that's where we'll rack them up and do it up to 2 more times. However, on the second and final attempt, if a caution comes out before that white flag, at that point, then it would be an official race. So these guys, like I said, these guys wanted to probably just go now to the end. And the guys that topped off, though, they might want this thing to have a couple yellows in it because they might be in the golden spot on fuel. So we'll have to wait and see how it shakes out. But we got teammates in the first 2 rows. We'll see how this restart goes for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, statistically speaking, when you have a caution this late, it's typically going to breed more, but we'll have to wait and see. They get through the restart zone, up through the gearboxes they go, back to green flag action here at Talladega.
Yeah, nice and clean start for those front 2. And then again, this is now this. I was going to ask what the strategy is going to be. Do you try to get them side by side? Do you try to stay 2 by 2? And unfortunately, right now, the odd man now is going to be Vicente Guerrero. And actually, as I said, you can see they jumped top and said, hey, let's go pick Vince back up too. So now Jack Wall's the lonely guy on the inside line here. And we saw it earlier, the outside line, you can kind of keep that momentum built up and just kind of run away with things. So these guys from 5th on back, they're going to need to try to find something organizational-wise to get working right now. And not a lot of organizing going on right now. You saw there for a second, Ryan Decker tried to get to the top. Maxwell was able to squeeze that spot and take it away before he could get up there. So yeah, right now it's pretty mixed. I can see everybody's really spread out right now at the moment here, Boomer.
Yeah, and we did see, we saw these guys doing the same kind of thing, the 16 on Friday night, and it's working out well so far. So he's got 3 teammates there lined up, ready to go, and they're going to have to go all the way back to the 3. Actually, it's funny, Austin McCarthy was in the same situation, just behind Robert Rock, the 16 of Cody Nagels, and one more that I'm not remembering at the top at my moment, but 3 sitting in a good spot there, but he's going to have to do the same thing he had to try to do Friday night, and that's find some drafting help to get around these leaders. And it looks like there's a run coming from the 83. No, they're going to stack up a little bit, maybe hit the wall.
Yeah, I think a couple guys there caught the wall through 3 and 4, and you can see that really shift the momentum. Charles Johnson's going to hustle by a couple of them, and then that's going to bring Ryan Decker along. So yeah, so really the one that lost the most out of that probably going to be Maxwell and Tom Dixon. As they say that there's going to be contact, that is going to send the 7 up and around. Caution's going to come back out. And yeah, I think that all started from turn number 4, the exit, and just from there, just the momentum loss for the 94, the 411. Unfortunately, I think just everybody's just going to try to take as much advantage as they can. And I think that fight we saw there for that lucky dog spot, I think it's going to be Charles Johnson. I think Gabe was pushing him at the time of the yellow, but I'm going to go back. 'Cause like I said, I think turn 4 is where this really started to kick off here. And yeah, you can already see if I can get a better shot of it here. Yeah, this will be a better look at it here, Boomer, but you can see, oh, actually, yeah, it's almost, let's go to Austin here. So yeah, Jack gets into the back of the 3, and then it's almost like that, yeah, a bad accordion. And then yeah, you can see it find its way back to the 08, the 411, and then yeah, you can see a couple of them in the wall, and then just that's where the momentum shifts to that second pack, which was going to be where Charles Johnson and company, where you see Maxwell moves down, but Charles says, hey, I got a huge head of steam, I gotta go. So he drops on down there. But then we'll stay over to Tom Dixon now, because that's where you can see he and Maxwell kind of side by side through all this. And then that's where, again, everybody sees the huge momentum shift that's starting to happen. And then that's where you can see now the 7 car, he's going to see the opening. So he goes middle between him and a little bit of net code, but I think they were going to find each other one way or the other. And so, yeah, so the 411, the 94, and the 7 all get locked on together here. And then I believe, though, it's just these guys that get involved. I don't think anybody else gets caught up in this one. We'll watch as they come through here through 1 and 2. Yeah, Jim Brooks just sneaks by Todd Merkel's close call there as well. And so, yeah, so I think it's just those guys. And like you said, Boomer, the cautions, breeding cautions is spot on. That is going to bring the yellow back out. This will be, though, still, I believe, outside green, white, checkered window here, because we're going to come around to 4 to go here. And I'm seeing a different car getting ready for this lucky dog, and that's going to be Gabe instead of Charles. I'm wondering if there was maybe at the time of the yellow, was there maybe a bump that happened for the... Let me go back one more time here. I want to see now with Charles Johnson. Did he get maybe a bit of a bump draft from the 4 car? Nothing malicious, but that may have just been
any contact.
Yeah, any contact, 0x, 1x, whatever it may be. So it's hard to see. Let's hop on here with the number 4 Ryan Decker. And we'll see if we can see. Yeah, right there's definitely a bump. And the caution light's not on yet, not on yet. As I'm still waiting for that light to pop yellow on our side. There's the caution. I mean, you can see he's probably in his bumper at that point. But you can see as soon as the caution comes out, Charles says, okay, I got to make sure I don't get any contact. And yeah, it may have been that 2x, or the 0x prior to that. That's a tough one. I've never... Because, yeah, I mean, he did absolutely nothing wrong there. So we'll jump back live, and, yeah, sure enough, here's Gabe going to get his lap back. So maybe a little bit of the luck of the Guinness there for that 88 car. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, with this being a league versus with being an official race, if maybe on the admin side of things, I mean, obviously you can't make that decision now because it's when I was like, well, this was never a rule. But, I mean, all these crazy things happen. It's like, oh, hey, we should look at this for future races. And so I'm sure this will be brought up in the admin discussion where it's like, hey, Charles should have been the lucky dog. However, because of a 0x at the time of the yellow, just because of bump drafting at a super speedway track, it cost him that opportunity. So, yeah, this is one of the things that even in a league, like there's things that you have to kind of stay on top of. You just don't know. So, and Boomer, I'm looking at this restart here. We're going to have, I believe, what will be just a natural green, white checkers. We're going to come around here for 3 to go, which means we'll restart at 2 to go. So, yeah, so basically this will be just a natural green, white checkered here on this next restart. Yeah,
and if I'm not mistaken, that doesn't count towards the green, white checkered attempts, correct?
Yeah, no, exactly right. And I got one more beneficiary, Boomer, is Dean Wilkinson. He got that luck. He was tail end lead lap on the lucky dog. Now he's going to restart 9th. He also got a few spots around Tom Dixon, Philip Bridgman, Maxwell Caldwell. So he's going to gain some spots and all that track position. And so now he's going to be in a good spot to try to make some more spots to maybe try to get that top 5 podium spot.
Yeah, definitely helps him out, and we talked about that before. Where it's if you can stay ahead of the leaders before the caution comes out, that makes a huge difference as far as actually getting an extra car back on the lead lap and helps out more. So props to Dean for being able to be in that position, and he's going to have a shot at the win here now because of it.
Yeah, and Dean's one of those guys you cannot count out. So. Yeah, so I mean, now you got to find who can you work with. So I mean, I'm looking around. Obviously, we know the top 4; they're in a really good spot. I mean, Dean's got some help. He's got the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald right there next to him. 411 Tom Dixon is right there as well. And I mean, and Dean's one of those guys. I mean, if you don't get on with Dean well, there's something seriously has gone wrong because he's one of the kindest people I know. And so that opens up a lot of friends for him too. So I mean, I see Jack Walls right there. I know Jack would easily have no troubles working with Dean. Same thing with Ryan Decker. And the thing is, I think with Dean, it's one of those, he doesn't care who you are, what team you're on. If you're in a position that you can take a push and it can help both of you, he's going to do it. So we've seen that time and time again with him and Gabe, with him and Charles. They're always working together, so it's always fun to see. So Yeah, we'll have to see what kind of organization can these guys do. They saw the last restart, how it worked for those top four. They got to make some adjustments here because, again, this is not a green, white checker attempt, but it might as well be here, Boomer. So, again, if they can get to the white flag at that point, race is official. But first, they got to get there. So we'll see with these top four drivers how they can organize here.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it wasn't commentator's curse because statistically speaking, cautions breed cautions at the end of these things, but hopefully we can stay green here and through the restart zone we go once more. Oh, there's a car around towards the back. It's still green flag though.
Yeah, looks like everybody's pointing straight there. I think I saw... Oh, maybe it was... Did Gabe get the run of the deal on that one? Because he's way off the back now. But yeah, that was a messy restart. I saw a lot of stacking up there. I think everybody was just getting really antsy knowing this could be the last restart. And again, Boomer immediately straight to the wall for these guys building up that speed. So now, again, if you're that fifth car in line, like you mentioned, now it's actually Jack Walls, the fifth car in line here. So he's going to lead it, but he's going to have to hope somebody goes with him. There's a little bit of contact. Oh, trouble in the back there. Bob Fitzgerald, he's going to hang onto it, so that's going to lose a little bit of momentum, but we will stay green. So now these guys, they're just looking for that white flag now.
Yeah, they want to get to that as fast as they possibly can, and they should be able to get to it here. There it is for the 16.
All right, so now this is where moves. You guys got to start working together there. You saw the three. He jumped low. Nobody went with him. So I think this is one of those decisions, too, where someone's got to figure out, hey, when do we go? So now you got Dean going with the inside line. And that's just, again, I think it's going to have to be the four of those guys behind the front four. They have to work together if they're going to try to do anything to break these guys up. And they're actually going to have John Ellis jump to the inside. He's going to bring some along. This could be a really good opening for Jack here as well as Ryan Decker. Here you go. Oh, they blocked the top. Big contact there.
They did say that about halfway through the last lap game, the gloves are off, and they're going to come to the tri-oval here.
More contact at the front there. It's going to be John Ellis at the end getting the win over, looks like Ryan Decker. I think Landon Velke is going to sneak through and grab that third position. And, man, that was crazy. We'll go back to the end here because, yeah, there's a lot of movement there at the very end. Because, like you said, I mean, at the end of these races, they're going to want to fight and try to see what they can do. And I like that. I mean, you don't want to stay completely lockstep. Obviously, it does open up to some potential chaos here at the end. But we'll pick it up here and pick up the speed here and try to see where all this went. And so you can see the 4-car, I think he actually tries to go with Vince there. Vince has to try to chase it. And I think Vince winds up still finishing fourth completely sideways and then backwards up against the wall. But yeah, no question here at the end, though. It's going to be this 14 of John Ellis getting the win. And we'll go up to him here and we'll watch him celebrate in that number 14 machine as we'll pull up his info here on the track. And I'm going to say he doesn't have to worry about being on fire with that Ricky Bobby picture there, as he's going to get the win here tonight at Talladega.
How about that 100% win percentage for the 14 here at Area 51? First start ever, first win ever.
So that means he has to retire?
Yes, yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so before we get to our top 3 interview, we got to pull up our final results. There they are. And ignore the 0 points there. That wasn't supposed to be on there. But yeah, so you got John Ellis there over Ryan Decker by about a 10th. And then Landon Velke able to still get that third spot. Vicente Guerrero sideways winds up in 4th. Then you got Cody Nagels, Austin McCarthy. So again, these guys had such a good run there. Just unfortunately got a little bit a lot of bumping and grinding there at the end. But you can see, I mean, 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th for the team. So I mean, still a really good result. You know they want to sweep the 1, 2, 3, 4. And Dean Wilkinson able to grab all the way back up into that 7th position. Jack Walls, Philip Bridgman, Tom Dixon rounding out our top 10. Then Maxwell Caldwell, Bob Fitzgerald, 11th and 12th. Gabe Butler got that lucky dog, but I think being at the end of that restart, it just, that whatever that accordion was, it seemed like really threw things off for him. And then, yeah, Justin Davis, Charles Johnson, Hayden Davis, Todd Merkel, 1 lap down. And then drivers, unfortunately, trapped 2 or more just with the way tonight went, including Brandon Briggs in 18th. And we'll continue down the order there. You've got Eric Laurie as well, Dude Conrad, Jim Brooks, Thomas Holder, Gary Huffines, and then Bud Steele. A tough evening there tonight in 24th. All right, Boomer. I think we got some fellas we need to pull up and have some chats with. And we're going to line off here initially. So get everything queued up on my side. We're going to start off with the number 62 of Landon Velke. So I got to find that car first. All right, now I found him. So let's go ahead and grab Landon on in over here, Boomer. And, well, I mean, first off, it's good I learned your name because using it right off the bat here over in the interview. But I say, Landon, I apologize because I pulled off my first commentator's curse of the season, talking about how you and your teammates there in the top four don't want to see a yellow come to the end. And what was it, Boomer? About 2 laps later, caution comes out?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
so my apologies on that one.
No, that's not your fault at all. That's just the luck that normally happens when we break away like that. But yeah, still made it a little more fun and interesting towards the end, I guess.
And
Yeah,
so go ahead, Boomer.
I was looking at the was trying to pull some stats on different drivers, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is actually your first start here at Area 51. Obviously, some of your teammates, Vicente and Cody, have been around for quite a while, but they finally convinced you to join them. And man, a great start for you guys for your first start here at Area 51.
Yeah, I've raced with Cody and Vince for probably like 2 years now. And I always knew about this league, but I was always more into the money racing, but that has since completely changed, and I now really enjoy league racing. And Cody sent me this like 3 hours ago. He was like, "Hey, you want to run a league with me?" I was like, "Sure, I guess." And it's my favorite car too, so definitely. I didn't know that until I clicked on the session. I was like, even better. But yeah, it is my first one, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I knew some of the guys in here from some of Jimmy Crow's races from the past and everything, and I know there's a lot of good guys in here, and it was fun to race with them, and I look forward to doing it again.
So then Boomer and I were talking. So it sounds like he already knew the rules going into the final lap, where pretty much you get through 1 and 2, get to the backstretch, and then it's kind of okay. Let's see who's got what at the end there. I mean, how do you guys work that one out? Because obviously it does open you up for a potential attack like it did tonight with some of the other guys that were fifth on back. But is it just one of those ones where it's more fun for you, even if you don't, let's say, get 1 through 4? Is it more fun to still be able to dice it up and see who amongst the 4 of you can get the win?
Well, I mean, I was asking, I think it was like coming to lap 68, that restart that we had. I was like, all right, are we racing now? I was wanting to do it then, but I knew that would be stupid. And they're like, we'll just, there's a mutual understanding of, all right, take care of each other. Don't do anything stupid, but still, go for it in the end. And me and Cody understand that to a T. I mean, we've raced, like I said, we've been teammates for a long time, in all sorts of races, and Vince too, and John also. I mean, I've raced with John a good bit, so yeah, Cody said he was going to do it out of into the tri-oval on the last lap. I was thinking about going out of 4, and then John obviously did it going into 3. So all different plans at once, but yeah, I mean, it still worked out. John got the win. I don't even know where else we finished. What, 1, 3, 4, 5? So close to sweeping it, but it was a great fun race. First race, I should say. It was a ton of fun, and yeah, definitely look forward to next week.
Yeah, so the next time you're going to see somebody will make a move out of turn 2 instead of turn 3, and I say it's just progressively going to move earlier and earlier because you guys are going to start trying to get the jump on one another. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, I mean that will happen up until the point it just completely breaks, and then we wait all the way. It's a cycle. It restarts over and over again. I don't know what'll happen next week, but we'll see, I guess.
No, I say it was fun. Like I said, I mean, we watched you guys, the pit stop execution. I mean, you guys were top notch. I mean, you got in, got out right on top of each other, like basically just exactly how you wanted to do. And like you said, you've run with these guys before, and you definitely were a well-oiled machine tonight. But before we let you go, definitely want to give you the floor though, if you have any thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for the broadcast. Of course, it's always fun to go back and look at those. And seems like y'all are really good too. This is my first time racing with y'all broadcasting, so I'm looking forward to watching that. Um, Shout out to all the admins over here. I know like Charles Johnson and Wilkinson, all those guys that run this league, for putting it on and giving us somewhere to race on a Sunday night. That's always good. Shout out to Cody and John and Vince and all them, and then as always my parents too for watching. Shout them out all the time. I know my both of them are big fans of what I do. Yeah, on here. That always tuning in, always watching. Probably the biggest fans. So shout out to them too.
I say we always love I love having the family supporting, and I'll say if they ever want to, tell them don't be shy, they can chime in on the chat. I say I have no shame in giving you some extra attention if they want to know where you are. So yeah, don't let them know. Feel free to bug us. That's what we're here for. But now, great job tonight, Landon. Looking forward to definitely seeing more of you up in these top 3 spots here for the rest of the season, though.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
All right, Boomer, we're going to jump one spot further forward, and that's going to be the guy that kind of spoiled the party tonight, and that is going to be the number 4 of Ryan Decker. I don't see any fried chicken on the paint scheme tonight, though, so I don't know what the celebration is going to be for the podium, because, Ryan, you guys had to be aggressive there at the end to try to break up that foursome, and you were the only one to be able to crack the top 4. I mean, you guys are throwing haymakers there at the end, coming to the checkered with you and with Jack, and I mean, it looked like you're just kind of having to swat flies at times in there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, whenever you get 4 people lined up like them, pushing in the top, I mean, you really can't do a whole lot with just 2 people. You need a third or fourth or something like that. Too bad Bud and Jim wasn't up there. Thought Austin was going to kind of go with us, but I mean, I think he was racing with the TW guys. But I don't know. Good second place, and it sucks Jack didn't get up here with me. I was afraid I was going to wreck him whenever somebody went up high to block his run. So I was like, crap, I got to back out for him, So, but I don't know. I picked the right lane, got the right pushes, and I got to apologize to Vicente also, because the 214s confused the crap out of me. All right. Because I was like, all right, Vicente, I'm going to push him. I know he's up here. He's 14. All right, I'm on 14. And then whenever he went high and then the other 14 showed up, I was like, wait a minute, which one is it? Because I was not looking at the back window. So anyways, I was a little bit hesitant on pushing. So that's kind of my fault on that last little bit. So I'm sorry for him, but I don't know. Don't have 214s. Drive me insane.
He's working on figuring out the car number, so don't worry.
Yeah.
This will give him. I'll tell him to listen to the interview, and it'll give him even more incentive to choose his number.
Yeah, pick a number so that way I know who you are. Usually I'll see the number in the little, on the rear bumper and go, okay, I know who he is. All right, because I mean, I'll shove the crap out of people these last couple laps. I don't care, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like. Obviously, you took a little bit of a break. I think didn't see much in the 3rd season of 2025, but back again in the car. Obviously, racing Friday nights too. Is there any little bit of rust that you gotta knock off? Or obviously, everyone's kind of feeling out these cars. Potentially for the first time in the draft. But is there anything getting back up to speed that you've kind of found so far?
I think the biggest problem right now is kind of getting together with the teammates and kind of, learning them again, because I think Jim's been out a little bit. Sometimes me and Jack don't work quite the best together. Me and Bud usually do pretty good, but Bud had some trouble. So it's kind of, getting this teammate thing down and kind of working together and kind of all meshing together and coming together as one. So I think that's the biggest rush right now. So once we get that down, we'll be up there with them and we'll be continuing for these wins.
Nah, so it'll be a lot of fun to see, and yeah, like you said, a little bit of a new car. Obviously you can tell you have to race it a little bit different, but It's going to be a lot of fun to see. Like I said, you guys put on a really good show tonight as well. And yeah, I think it's just everybody's going to start to get that little bit better and better as the season goes on. But man, it was a great run for you tonight. Like I said, you were the one able to spoil that top four. So yeah, definitely want to get you opportunity here. Any thanks and shouts for that top two tonight.
Yeah, I see it was a bad day to be a boot knocker today. And I think Gabe was shaking off quite a bit of rust too. But yeah, I just like to thank everybody putting on this to you guys for, hosting everything. Charles, as far as Charles putting together everything, kind of letting us run here. Wife and family for watching, everybody. And to be honest with you, everybody watching this series, kind of, showing it love on YouTube and everything, kind of sharing and getting the name out there a little bit more. Hopefully we can keep growing this league more and more, and we get 40 cars out here, and a good following of people watching.
Yeah, I know you guys have done a really good job of putting on a great show for us over here. And yeah, I mean, definitely give your family all of our love over here too. As I miss Kaylin in the chat tonight, but hope that everybody's doing well. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you on track again soon though, Ryan.
All right, appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you too, Gail.
All right, Boomer, that leaves us one fellow left to chat with, and that is going to be, I guess he's going to be the official number 14, and say the strat worked well because the 214s threw off Ryan based on his interview, and so John, let's say the 4 car didn't know if he was supposed to push you or Vince at the end there because he was trying to figure out which 14 was which, but you made the move there coming into turn number 3. It got crazy, but you're able to stay pointing in the right direction and get there in the end. I'm guessing probably not how you wanted to get the win with the cautions. You probably wanted to have that top 4 breakaway and then have no dramas for 5th on back. But, I mean, take us through the race and then what the game plan was there on that last restart.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for broadcast and put on the broadcast. I'm sure it was great. I'll have to go back and take a look at it. First race in this league, so it went well. Can't complain. But yeah, the race was really good. I mean, anytime you can run a super speedway race and not have just a caution fest is always a good time. We love green flag pit stops. And I think that's what, ultimately got us in the position we were at the end. We were able to execute all race on our pit stops. We didn't get any black flags, got off pit road nice and good. But yeah, it was a good race, man. We just kind of wanted to save fuel, especially early, so we could do a shorter pit stop at the end to get a bigger breakaway. It went well, and then we got that caution that always seems to come out there with 5-10 to go if there's a breakaway. So we're kind of expecting it. It seems like that's always how it goes. Everyone's pushing hard, trying to catch the lead pack and whatnot. But yeah, once we got that, it's kind of changed our mindset. The breakaway would have been nice, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm a race car driver, and I can't lie, I was a little happy when we got the caution. We were able to get some more guys in the mix and race a little harder for the win. Luckily, I was still able to get the win even with the caution there, but it definitely made it more interesting. I'm sure the broadcast had a lot better time watching that too, that green white checkered.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun for us to get a chance to see that. And I mean, obviously, we already talked to Landon. Both you and him obviously working together, but you guys are first ever start in Area 51. Obviously, you're working with Cody and Vicente, who have been here for quite a while now. But you guys seem to have really some great chemistry early on. Obviously, one question I'm actually curious to ask you is so now that your win percentage is 100%, do you retire here or do you potentially continue on and risk it going down from there?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know. Should I hang it up? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
looking at the standings right now. It looks pretty nice.
I was like, there's probably 23 drivers who do want you to. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, but no, man. It's like I said, like you guys said, me, Cody, and Landon and Vicente have been working together forever. We're all from the money racing scene, so we run super speedways all the time. This is kind of just what we do. Obviously, first time together in the league, and went well, executed well. The biggest thing with these is just pit stops. Got to get on a pit road quick and clean, and get off and get lined up and go do it again in 15, 20 laps. And that's ultimately what we were able to do and how we got the breakaway. It's not like we're any faster than the rest of the guys and up to speed. It all comes down to the pit stops.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it. It's executing the little things goes a really long way, and that was we focused on your guys' pit stop, and yeah, I mean we saw the four of you came in together, came out right together, right on song, and it was just it was basically just a well-oiled machine. I think's the way I described it. So I mean, you guys did everything right, and like I said, I mean, first race here, but like I said, you guys have been doing this plenty together, and it's almost one of those deals where we can throw you in your own Discord channels, but you almost are already reading each other's minds type of a situation. So, these guys are going to have to step their game up against you guys a little bit. Obviously, a few of our regular heavy hitters didn't have the best nights they were hoping for. But yeah, it's going to be fun to see how everything bounces back in the end and see if anybody's going to kind of start add some challenge to you guys the rest of the season, which it's going to happen, obviously, but it'll be fun to see who makes those adjustments.
Yeah, for sure. I expect everyone will step their game up. They know what they're dealing with now with us four, and there's like you guys said too. There's a lot of guys kind of got stuck lap down or kind of off the lead pack pretty early on, just with some. I think there was a checkup on one of the starts that. And I know Gabe got black flag from it, and I think some other guys just lost the pack, which is unfortunate. And then when that caution did come out, there just wasn't enough time for those guys to get the track position back. But it was a fun race, like I said, and able at least me, Cody, Landon, Vicente, we might go out there and run in a line for the first 70 laps or whatever. But I can promise you guys we're going to be fighting each other for the win every single week. That's kind of what we were talking about in our channel is we're going back and forth. Do we want to ride in line? Do we want to fight for the win? And all of us were like, nope, we're all fighting for the win. So we can promise you if we're up there again, we'll put on a show every week.
Well, you guys definitely did exactly that tonight. But before we let you go, John, always got to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening, sir?
Just want to thank the guys I was working with, Landon, Vicente, and Cody. Obviously we executed all night, which is a plus. Helped us out a lot. I want to thank you guys up in the booth, broadcast, Charles, everyone else at Area 51. I don't know everyone's name yet, first week here, but awesome league. Great impression from the first race, not just because I won, but just having I think 2 total cautions, maybe 3, is always a big plus at a super speedway. Though we come from the money scene and we kind of race every lap like the last lap, and ultimately that leads to just a lot more caution. So it's nice to come in here and really get some green flag laps in. But like I said, I really enjoyed it.
It's a fun group, and what you said is exactly it for me. Is you start to build that camaraderie and everything, and I've watched some of Cody's races in those money races, and it's too cutthroat for me. I get so stressed just watching them. But no, it's gonna be a lot of fun seeing you guys out here. Definitely glad to have you over here as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun to like you said, watch you guys fight for those wins this season. So go enjoy this one. You can brag on them a little bit, and then I'll say look forward to seeing you in a week's time, sir.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, Boomer. That is our race winner. Watching him do the burnouts as we speak. In that number 14, John Ellis getting the win. And so if not for Ryan kind of spoiling the 1, 2, 3, 4 party, I say they would have been able to sweep all those positions. But I mean, still though, and I had my updates wrong there, so that's not our third place finisher. That is actually our race winner. But yeah, really, really cool seeing it. I'm still learning my new toys, so I apologize for that. But man, I'd say it's pretty fun race. And yeah, like I said, it was at the end that the commentator's curse caution is just, I'll say, is Brandon and his team working together, trying to push as hard as they could, try to get that, try to catch some drivers. And he just got the engine a little bit too hot. And I mean, we've seen that season after season. It's just sometimes that unfortunately happens when you're trying to get all you can in these races.
Yeah, obviously it's tough. Definitely hate that for him, and we'll see him regroup because he was having such a great run to start. So nothing to be ashamed of. Definitely plenty to hang his hat on, and hopefully get a chance to maybe have to bring him up for an interview at some point. I know he said he wants to do it, and obviously he does a pretty good job of it with us on Fridays. So was a bummer there, but I mean, we got to see some like really good racing, and obviously, as they kind of mentioned, John and the mentioned at the end there, Landon, pretty clean race to the end there, only 2 cautions, and it was good to see. You got a little bit of both, where you got the long green flag runs, but we still got a little bit of calamity and a little bit of chaos towards the end, and got to stack the field up and see what they could do.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And yeah, I mean, and that's the name of the game in these, is sometimes it doesn't quite go exactly how you want it to go, of course. I mean, that's any racing.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you got that big of a break where you're like, all right, this eventually something's going to happen. It's going to make my life a little bit more difficult. But I mean, that's why these guys do it, is you never know how it's going to turn out. Sometimes, like I said, obviously it was a tough night for a lot of the boot knockers tonight, with Dude, Eric, Gabe. I mean, they all had really rough results, unfortunately. But again, I mean, that's part of it. And the nice part is, though, there's still about 9 more races till we get to that 4-race playoff. So a lot of time to recover. A couple off weeks available still too. This could be one of their throwaway races if needed, and then they'll be able to try to regroup and go after those final 4 races strong. So we're not there yet. We got a lot of fun, just regular racing to go before we get to that shenanigans.
Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of racing to go, and it should be a good time. I mean, I like that we've expanded to the 14 weeks. You get 2 drop weeks too, which also helps. So if you do have a bad week or two, you can still be in pretty well contention for the playoffs there. So yeah, definitely early to start talking about that, but it's going to be on everyone's minds as we get longer and longer into the season here.
Yeah, no, that is exactly right. So, Boomer, that is it for us tonight here on Green White Checkered TV. I'm still playing with buttons, trying to get stuff to show up correctly, but it's not wanting to cooperate. I'll have to figure out how that is the way to fix it in the future. But as always, man, pleasure doing these with you. I know it's rare we usually get to, so it's a lot of fun to be able to share the booth with you. I know you and Brandon, obviously, you guys are awesome on Friday nights, and it'll be fun to see we'll see how maybe I'll be able to get behind the wheel again soon. Obviously it's going to be a tricky one this upcoming weekend with the Daytona 24, but I know I'll begrudgingly approve your time off, but yeah, really want to thank everybody that watches here and supports us on Green White Checkered TV. Again, if you're friends, family, someone you're watching racing, chime in, let us know who you want to see, and we'll get them a little bit of extra time over here too. We always love to keep you guys up to date on the drivers that you are interested in, so by all means, don't hesitate. But for that's it for us this evening. So as always, until next time, take care, stay safe, and have a good night.